So gloomy investors, I've heard a lot from them over the past 3 months, the first quarter of this year. I've had many, unfortunately, negative questions. Some of them very big in nature, such as if we had a nuclear war between Russia and the US, what would happen to my portfolio? Well, I quickly answered, I don't think it would matter a whole lot what your portfolio was worth if there was a nuclear war. I think we would have bigger problems on the horizon. But definitely something that makes people nervous. What happens if the US currency were to crash, or the US currency was no longer the currency of choice for the world? That perhaps there would be another currency that would dominate or be used more by other countries outside of North America. What would happen to US investments, US dollar? What would happen to US government bonds, treasuries? So a great question, and one that people are nervous about again. I know a lot of people ask me about bank failures and what happened in the US with two big bank failures, two of the largest bank failures that we've seen really ever, and made people very, very nervous. People are still hearing about recessions. And even one person asked me about the possibility of a depression, that they read online somewhere that there would be possibly a depression coming down the road. All this information is out there on the internet right now. And I can say, honestly, in my 25-year career, I think today I've probably heard more, I would say in the last few months, more negativity in the last few months than I've heard in all my years of managing money, in all my 25 years of being in this industry. And that says something, because we went through a much bigger crisis in 2008. The bank crisis we just went through, I guess, or the US went through, was nothing compared to what the world went through in 2008. So we've definitely seen more difficult times. So why such negativity? Is it warranted? Well, I don't think so. I think the fact that there's so much information through social media, online, for viewers or investors to watch and see, I think they're very easily swayed today by a lot of this negativity. You may not feel as though you're being more negative than usual, but this negativity is getting to be more negative today. Well, I'm going to show you the answer is no. We have a few charts here, which I'll show. First one, the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the largest market or index in North America. And you can see this is a 3-month chart. The chart clearly goes from the bottom left to the top right. And you will see that for the first 3 months, with all this negativity, the major index in North America was up 7%. So definitely a good thing, right? You know, you extrapolate that over the rest of the year, that's a 28% return for the year, a number that we would love to see for 2023. We go to a next chart here, the NASDAQ, which is another large index in the US. This one has a lot of tech stocks on the index, included in the index. And tech stocks, as we all know, was the hardest hit sector last year. Well, this year, it's been the darling for 2023 so far. Again, look at the chart, bottom left to the top right. So that tells us that tech stocks predominantly have outperformed. And the NASDAQ was up 16% for the first 3 months of 2023. So as you can see, no negative numbers. And lastly, excuse me, we have a chart of the TSX, Toronto Stock Exchange, which I will show you. And once again, you can see bottom left to the top right. And you can clearly see over the past few months how much the market has gone higher. And the TSX up 3.5% for the first quarter of this year. So take that out for the full year, you're looking at a 14-15% return for the full year. So even with all this negativity out there in the world today, in my opinion, it's not warranted. All the fears, I understand them. When you read things about currency or about possible recessions or that the economy is slowing down in general, I understand that people will be nervous. You know, a lot of people have all their money in their RSPs, in their tax-free savings accounts, Canadian investment accounts, or perhaps have their children's tuition in an RESP, that money that they're going to need for their kids' university or college. So you're going to be nervous, of course, when you see and read about all this negativity online. But make no mistake about it. I just think these are fear mongers. These are individuals or companies that put out these really negative commentary for people to gravitate towards. How often do you gravitate to something good? Most of the time, we tend to gravitate to something, unfortunately, that's not good or bad. And so they want eyeballs. So what do? They put out provocative statements that they're going to lure people by having them out there. So overall, my comment is it's never as bad as what you read. At times, it's never as good as what you read either. It's always somewhere in the middle. But numbers don't lie. For the first quarter of 2023, things have been really, really good. And I look forward to this continuation of good markets for the rest of the year.